dreaming. This is not dreaming. This is the exodus from the game. That's beneath the stars. We the sound system, we the collective. With an open heart, we the solution should be respected. We'll turn the dust to song, turn the rusty back into passion and water into wine. But it's here and it's happening massive, but massive. Bring the peace back.
Right, David, we're going to do a walk round
Yeah.
the journey that was and continues to be the restoration of Marsh House and its conversion into Fidel Castro's Social Action Club. So talk us through quickly what we did. We took the...
First of all, we had to establish where the floor level was in the main room, and then find out whether we could actually make a step to get from the inside to the outside deck that was already there, which was a big problem. So we had to build a deck out around that and bring the steps forward. And during the course of that, we built a raised platform, a performance area and storage area underneath, which is quite something. And now we've got a sweeping staircase that leads down into a lovely dance floor area. And from that, we had to build our platform at the back because that was raised and there was no real access to the platform, and it was a bit dangerous as well from the back. So we built a rammed earth platform out the back there, and finally paved it all up, which is a great example, demonstration of what can be done with a few ties and no money. And the next thing was Tetris in the windows and actually letting some light into the place, which quite a task on its own.
And that transformed the building, that did, didn't it?
Because it doubled its...
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Connecting the inside of the house to what was now a usable back garden.
Yeah,
because it was a 7-foot drop there from the window to what was the garden.
Yeah.
So that was an amazing stroke of work there. Okay, so just before we leave that back area, we also had to put up fencing around the edge. We did around the whole perimeter, and we installed first 2 gates, one at the side, one at the rear, and then we've recently installed big double gates to join again extend the venue from its current space
10-foot wide gates
out into the wide thing. So that's another excellent bit of work there.
We had to completely rewire all that and put a whole new armour-proof cables in and everything else.
And that electricity work brought the whole space alive, didn't it? Because then comes with that comes lighting, sound, heating, all of that.
Absolutely.
So magic transformation there. The well was the last thing outside in that part of the area. We found on an old map, we found there was actually a well, which we then discovered by going down a bit, and you constructed a round top to it, didn't you?
Yeah, we built it up to now it's a waste height and looks like a proper well. Now it's capped off and pointed up, and all it's missing now is a little wishing well handle on the top.
And that's
of
one of our next mission. So that was the back area. Moving into the house, the bar area was again, that was a blocked up, bricked up room which wasn't really used too much.
The floor that was existing was in a state of great disrepair, so we had to take that right back down to the floorboards again and resurface that whole lot. So it was quite something. But that again, once we covered the floor with a bit of paletology, it's lifted the place up somewhat. Because
we used we split pallets and used old pallets to redo the floor. Yeah. And then the bar itself was donated timber, same as the timber from the back, but big thick bits of timber, and we had a sort of a great experience.
Upcycled 9x3s.
Upcycled 9x3s and turned into what I think is one of the best bars I've ever seen in terms of looking at it. You know what I mean? We had to knock out 2 windows there, didn't we? One for the double doors at the back, and
window at the back, double doors at the front.
So let's fly into the kitchen. In the kitchen, which was formerly an old toilet block, which we made a bit bigger, increased its size a little bit, and then turned that into a fully equipped commercial kitchen. So what did that involve?
Well, it sounds easy when you say turned into a kitchen, but I mean stripping it right back to the plaster, priming and sealing the walls up, dabbing and dotting the plaster skin on the outside of it, and then cladding it with washed down surface and stainless steel behind the cooking area, and fitting in a double sink and all the plumbing that goes with it. And you know, it's not just fitting the kitchen, it's not, and the extractor system and all of that goes with it. Yeah, just fitting the kitchen, it's not just fitting the kitchen.
I mean, that extraction unit, getting that in was a job and a half, wasn't it? Because it was so tight a fit. And
it was
took
just
a few
about
of us
fit
to lift it in, you know. But what a bit of kit, though. You know, that's made the kitchen so that it's usable commercially. And again, that's advancing the job creation agenda. So we're left with a beautiful kitchen instead of a set of old broken down toilets. And then into the back room, what we call the history room, we had to strip the floor there, didn't we, of carpet tiles which were glued solid to the timber.
Yeah.
And that was a nightmare to get up. But we've now done that. We've just brought them back to good and decorated the back room, haven't we?
Hours and hours of scraping and sanding and washing and just to get the floor back to normal, you know. And
then the obviously 2 windows we've knocked out in that room. No, that was brought back from dereliction and darkness, because both of those windows were blocked up, bricked up.
Yeah.
And again, opening them was a joyous day. And now it's used by all the building tenants and loads of community groups. And
it's a lovely asset.
Very, very in demand, that room. From out of there, we go into what was a big cupboard. We had a useless old cupboard, which was, well, I say useless, I mean full of rubbish.
Yeah.
And we transformed that into, Matai actually and Specky transformed that into women's toilets.
Yeah, nice big spacious women's toilets there now, aren't they?
As well as a false ceiling. We put false ceiling there, new wiring, new electrics.
And a little lighting as well.
Down into the cellar. In the cellar,
Should we have a look at the cellar before we went down there? And it was just damp with a rotten floor in it, and insulation and
health hazard.
Just absolutely, it was like a plague pit down there.
Yeah, bringing it back to concrete was a rotten job, wasn't it? Because that flooring was soaking, been in there for years, rotted away. All of that sort of thing, you know what I mean? It was a horrible job.
Standing water as well.
Yeah. So. And then when we did get it back to concrete and decorating that, but we also realised there was a damp issue down there and kept flooding over
sump in there to keep the water down. So we had to dig a sump pump in there, the lowest point of the building, to keep the water out. So that's one problem over sorted. So yeah, and we built a cold room in there as well. So
quality addition to turned another wasted space into a usable, enterprising space. So we're back upstairs, we're out the cellar, and we're going upstairs now. Right, we're into the Revolution room. Right. This room needed transformation, again for enterprising reasons, and an ability to use it as a rented space to Revolution Arts. And what are we doing there? We
had to open up the whole top floor really into one big long office, and to do that we had to remove a toilet cubicle that was redundant, that was no longer used. So that had to go, and the stud wall had to be removed, and then the floor had to be relaid because the floor coverings didn't match. So organised the plumbing, reroute the waste from the main work area and the kitchen area in there, redecorate, put the heaters on, get the plug sockets and everything in. Oh, and we had to completely overhaul and restore the windows back to their original glory as they were in the old days.
Which we've done throughout the building, haven't we? You know what I mean? On the upstairs level.
Yeah, when we can,
all the upstairs level windows have been restored to their original farmhouse style.
The original sashes,
still there, and that keeps the character of the building. And
absolutely.
Yeah. Okay, so out of the Revolution room, and we go into LUR's room, which had a beautiful little room.
Windmill room.
There's a windmill window which was donated to us. That room there, we installed that window and then knocked down a partition wall in there, which made it into 2 small rooms, made it into one more usable room. And then LUR plumbed in their desk.
And turned it into something special.
Decorated it, put carpet in there. Do you know what I mean? Beautiful.
Something to be really proud of. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. And now not only is that one of the best community radio stations I've ever heard of, but LUR have got more women DJs than any other local community radio station that I know of. And so, again, from make the place beautiful and usable, and all of a sudden there's records being set, mate. You know what I mean? Just going outside the building, we pointed up all the wall ready in preparation, made preparations for the mural.
Yeah.
and then commissioned a mural on the side, on the gable end side of the building, which is one of Luton's famous landmarks.
It's a landmark now, isn't it?
It absolutely is.
Everybody can find
Bob
it.
Marley on the wall, and that was again working together with
Revolution Arts, yeah,
We did
local
that.
group, yeah. We had to fix the valley gutters in the roof, and we had to replace broken tiles and fix broken soffits, put a new rainwater head on it, do the gutters, the downpipes, the rainwater pipes. We had to put a gully around the bottom of the building to divert the water away from the cellar.
Storm drain, yeah. So, you know, in overall, Marsh House has been transformed, and that's a good record of it, I think.
You can't just rush in and throw money at something. It takes compassion, and it takes
exactly.
an affinity with a building to make it look like that.
We've had to de-council it, if you like, because it was made into very much a council building, and it looked like one. And we've brought the farmhouse
Put
back,
some warmth
back
back
to the farm.
into it,
Yeah,
make
exactly,
it like
yeah.
lived in rather than worked in.
It's simple because it is the people fighting for and claiming what remains of the dreaming. This is not dreaming. This is the exodus from the game. That's beneath the stars. We the sound system, we the collective, with an open heart. We the solution should be respected. And we'll turn the dust to soil, turn the rust to hate, back into passion, our water into wine. But it's here, and it's happening massive, but passive. To bring the peace back. Respect here, respect for all the people. The good copper, the jar lawyer, all good minds. They can see there is no evil. 'Cause the only wrong is in fighting changing times. That's beneath the stars. We the sound system, we the collective, with an open heart. We the solution should be respected. That's beneath the stars. We the sound system, we the collective, with an open heart. We the solution should be respected.